Today's fairy tale is another story about a princess who has secret birthmarks, how she gets tricked into revealing them, and then how she has to sleep with two men who use dirty tricks to get her to like them. This is The Princess's Birthmarks from Denmark. So there's a band of robbers that live in a mountain, and one of them has a son, and when he grows up, he decides he's against all the robbing and he wants to go make an honest living, so he leaves. But on his way out, his father gives him a wallet and a golden box and says, "These will always remind you of home." He gets a job tending sheep, and one day he sits down to eat his lunch and a troll shows up and wants his lunch. So the shepherd gives him half, and the troll is really grateful, so he says, "Because you shared your lunch with me, all will go well with you." It turns out to be true. He does well as a sheep herder, and then the troll comes to him one day when he turns 18 and says, "Now go to the king's castle and get a job there as a swineherd. Here is a magic flute, and whenever you blow into it, the pigs will do cute little dances for you." So he's like, "Thank you very much." So he goes and gets the job as the swineherd. Now the princess sees the dancing pigs from her window and she wants one. And so one day when he's out with the pigs in the forest, she comes to him and she's like, "Please let me buy a pig." He says, "They're not for sale, but if you show me one of your garters, then I'll give you one." She lifts up her skirt and shows him. He gives her the pig, but when she takes it back, it will not dance because they don't have the magic flute, but she doesn't know about that. So she comes back like, "You cheated me, the pig won't dance." He's like, "Oh, it's probably too lonely to dance. You need to buy another one." And she's like, "What do you want for that one?" And he said she would have to show him her breasts. So she undid her bodice and let him look. And he saw that she had 2 silver hairs beneath her left armpit and 1 golden hair beneath her right armpit. So she takes the pig back. It still doesn't dance. She comes back and he's like, "All right, this time show me your arms." Seems like a weird order to ask for things, but on her arms is a blood red birthmark on one. Well, then of course the king announces that anyone who can guess the princess's special birthmarks gets to marry her, and the swineherd knows the answers. But he goes there and other people are trying to get her favor, including a student who's really handsome, who she likes, and so he gets the information out of the swineherd. But he lies to him. He says that the 2 silver hairs are on one side and the gold one's on the other, and then the suitor says that, and then he's like, "No," and steps out of the shadows. "I know the true answer. It's really the other way around." The same thing happens with the red birthmark. The student guesses it's on the wrong arm. The swineherd gets it right. The king just doesn't want the swineherd to win, so he says, "Okay, one more challenge. Similar to the 2-minute story I told the other day, you're both gonna sleep with the princess tonight, and whoever she's facing in the morning gets to marry her." The student thinks he's in 7th heaven. He's totally gonna win, so he gets super drunk at dinner that night. But the swineherd is not so foolish, and he even takes dates and raisins to bed with him and eats them so his breath is all sweet in bed. But the student wakes up in the middle of the night and has to puke from all his drinking and overeating, but the door is locked, so he pukes right there in the room. So when he comes back to bed, his mouth smells so foully of vomit that the princess turns away from him, faces the swineherd. So in the morning, when they wake up, she's facing him, he gets to marry her. So they get married, and here's where that box and wallet from earlier came in, if you remember that. At the wedding feast, the king is like, "What's up with that box and wallet?" And he's like, "Oh, my dad gave them to me before I left home," and then the king asks to see it, and there's a picture of the swineherd's dad in it, and he recognizes him as his own twin brother. And then you find out that when their father had died, they battled each other over the kingdom, the king and the swineherd's dad, and the loser escaped to the woods to become the leader of the band of robbers. And so when they open the gold box, which apparently the swineherd's never opened, it has a rich inheritance, and he's royal. So now it's super okay for him to marry the princess, and they get to bring back his dad, and they all live happily ever after. Hopefully the princess. I hope she's cool with everything that happened. For tomorrow's 2-minute fairy tale, I'm telling you the grossest version of this tale. Like, so gross, you don't want to eat when you hear it. As always, check out my book, Dust Spells, a reimagining of the 12 Dancing Princesses, and my podcast. All the links are in the bio.